Alrighty, hello folks. Welcome to Eagles Power Hour, your official, unofficial Eastern Washington affiliate on the Big Sky Podcast Network, as well as an affiliate member of Fans Nation Network's YouTube channel. I'm your host, Patrick Frakes, and today we are hitting on what I messed up in the basketball scheduling-wise because I totally forgot to prepare for Monday's games against Portland State. So we had a last-minute episode with Kyler on Sunday to preview the men's game, and then so I didn't have time to watch or, hit on any of the women's basketball games because I did not get anything out for the Portland State stuff. But that is my bad and won't happen again, hopefully. I am a college student that is horrible at time management, so you got to bear with me, guys. But just to kind of hit on what the podcast schedule will be. So this show that you guys are watching right now should be posted on Tuesday. That will be February 6th, Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. And then either Wednesday or Thursday, we will have a basketball versus Idaho preview for both the men's and women's men's and women's basketball teams. They play the doubleheader on Saturday. The women play, I believe, at 2 or 2:30, and then I know the men are scheduled to tip off at 4:30, but it's depending on when the women's game finishes up. That game is in Cheney. Seriously, highly recommend everyone get to that game in Cheney. I will be there. But a little bit later this week, we'll be having that preview episode with a few of the Tubs of the Club guys. Hopefully, as long as scheduling works out this week. I have a busy week with school and stuff, and we have a special guest episode coming up here soon, so keep an eye out. I will be posting announcements for that. But anyways, housekeeping aside, we're going to get right into the men's basketball game here that happened. I'm recording this tonight after the game, Monday night. Eastern went down to Portland and absolutely dominated the Vikings, 90-77 once again. A really dominant performance from the Eagles, but there was a lot of negative in this game, from my opinion, watching it, of just things that I really want to see improved with this Eastern team to get them to, be more consistent. This game felt very similar to the first time Portland State and Eastern met this season. Portland State jumped out to an early lead in that game. Same thing happened again today. Um, and then Eastern was able to kind of feel things out and then dominate the rest of it. That's pretty much what happened here. But I'm going to go hitting on this game. Excuse me. I had a little brain fart there. PSU got out to a pretty early lead there. They benefited from 4 early Eastern turnovers in the first 8 minutes of play, and a 2 for 11 start from the field. Just piss poor shooting. Again, missing a ton of open layups and stuff like that. That just seemed like they should be automatic for this team. They just weren't going in for whatever reason earlier in this game. But Casey Jones was really the catalyst for this offense. He has been this little stretch here where we've had a lot of struggles early. Northern Colorado, both Montana schools, and now this Portland State game. Casey Jones has been a consistent guy that brings the juice early, and it's been really nice to see him bringing that juice early because he started this game off real hot. He hit a nice 3 early to get the Eagles on the board, and he continued to have a really nice night on both ends of the floor as well as on the boards in this one. The first 10 minutes of this game were just ugly. They were not good. Eastern was turning the ball over a ton. They were scoring okay, but a lot of turnovers, a lot of ugly basketball. And Portland State was making some tough shots, I will say, but we weren't playing the level of defense that we're used to seeing from Eastern Washington. And then at about the 10-minute mark, things turned around. Eastern was able to build a little bit of a lead. They went at a halftime with a 13-point lead, a nice margin, hit a couple of threes right towards the end to extend that lead, and it was really, really relieving seeing us get a little bit of separation there. It was a little bit anxiety, a little bit anxious that first couple of minutes when we went down, but I had full confidence we'd be able to get back in this game. Kind of in the second half, the Eagles came out really firing in all cylinders, hit a number of threes in a row. Coward hit a few threes in a row, and it was really nice to see the shooting from beyond the arc bounce back from the Montana trip because it was just ugly. I think we hit 7 total threes in 2 games, uh, shooting somewhere around 25%. I can't quite remember the actual number, but just ugly, not good shooting from beyond the arc, and that really hurt because it allowed teams to really focus in on the inside and protecting the post, not allowing, you know, Coward, Casey Jones, Price, and Eric Strip dominated side. Luan Watts, all the big bodies that Eastern has, didn't let them dominate that side. And that's kind of what we saw in the Montana games. But this Portland State game, luckily, we were able to get hot from beyond the arc, and that really uh, allowed this Eagle offense to take over. 90 points is a great showing offensively, and a lot of that came in about a 25-minute stretch was where most of the offense happened. Um, the Eagles were able to build about a 20 to 25 point or 20 to 22 point lead and kept it right around there until there was about 3 to 4 minutes remaining in the second half. And then Portland State went to a super aggressive, heavy ball pressure zone trying to trap guys in the backcourt. And holy shit, it worked for them. Um, it was incredible. Eastern turned the ball over something like 5 or 6 times in the final 3 or 4 minutes of this game, and allowed Portland State to bring the lead down to about 13, 2 or 3 times before the game finally ended. Portland State went on a real hot streak there. Eastern turned the ball over a ton, and this is a little concerning because ball pressure in these last few weeks has given the Eastern offense a lot of issues. One of the beauties of Eastern's offense is they're able to really dominate because of their size and with all their post talent and their ability to score with size and being physical in the lane. But where we struggle sometimes is we don't have the ball handlers that some previous Eastern teams have had. There's no, Tyler Harvey that's a really good ball handler that can score off the dribble. Ellis Magnuson's a good ball handler, but other than him, the rest of these guys can be a little loose with the basketball. They're all, good players, but they're not great, when you have to deal with pressure in your face. And we saw that. We saw Portland State really take advantage of that in the second half. They, right in the end, if they would have gone to that earlier, it likely would have caused more issues. But Eastern turned the ball over a lot in this game. And you look at the score and it's like, okay, whatever. But this is just something that's been concerning all year, and it just has not been something that's felt like it's been addressed. But we'll see. I have faith in David Riley to coach this up with almost a full week of preparation. Not quite, but next game is Saturday. Gives him a nice time to rest up, one, and two. Hopefully Mason Williams will be good to go versus Idaho, and Idaho's a good team. Okay team. They're a good first half team, is what I will say. And Eastern so far in the first, the back half of the first round through the Big Sky has been a bad first half team, or at least a bad first 10 minutes team. And so, definitely want to see, some adjustments there. But like I kind of said earlier, this game had 25 minutes of like amazing Eagle basketball. Some, tip top, that's Eagle basketball. Shooting the ball efficiently, rebounding the ball very well. Efficient shooting, excellent defense, forcing a few turnovers. Really, really good basketball from about the 10-minute mark in the first half to about the 15-minute mark in the second half. Well, 15 minutes elapsed, 5 minutes remaining. But then we had 15 minutes of just ugly, turning the ball over. Just Portland State is getting, they're a streaky team that likes to do that. But like, I bet you 15 of those 45 second half points came in the last 3 minutes of this game. I wasn't actually measuring. I was kind of just watching. I was actually able to catch this game live, which is something that's kind of rare for me, being in Moscow and stuff. But, the turnovers were just bad. They're really bad in stretches in this game. The first couple of minutes, 5, 6, 7 turnovers, and then the last few minutes, something like 5, 6, 7 turnovers, and then there was a few sprinkled in between when Eastern was playing really well. But you see the ceiling and you see the floor of this team in this game. The ceiling, thankfully, a lot higher than the floor, but a lot higher than the floor is low. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to go with there, but you know kind of looking into, hey, negatives, what went bad. We had another slow start offensively, and I hit on that that's something that has to be addressed. I tweeted this out from the Eagles Power Hour account. Got to address the slow starts offensively. If we go down to, maybe more firepower, a team with more firepower than Portland State, that's a little less streaky, say a Northern Colorado, and go down by 12, 15 points. Does Eastern have enough firepower to get back in that game if we're not hitting three-pointers? Well, we saw that in Montana State. They got up to a 10-point lead. If we're not hitting three-pointers, we can't get back into that game because we turn the ball over too much. Um, that is something that we've seen. 22 turnovers tonight is insane. And, a lot of those came when this game didn't matter, but 22 turnovers is still way too much to see. Eric Shep with 4 turnovers, Cedric Cowell with 4 turnovers, uncharacteristic for him. Jake Hyman and Casey Jones both with 2, 3 for both Ethan Price and Ellis Magnuson. Magnuson with 3 turnovers is one of his worst outings this year. He even struggled with the on-ball pressure. Lamont Watts also had 3 turnovers. He's been a guy that's turned the ball over a decent amount too. A lot of it comes from being too aggressive and trying to do too much when we're in the offensive half court. Sometimes it's just like trying to make the pass that's not there when we could be a little bit more careful with the ball. And hey, maybe we get a missed shot, but at least it's not a turnover, giving the other team momentum, allowing them to take the ball in transition. And furthermore, what am I saying? The other thing with the turnovers is that ball pressure. The ball pressure is concerning because we're playing a team like Idaho who is going to see that. Idaho's been a strong defensive team all year, maybe not great, but they're a team that is strong and a team that's likely going to mix up and put in a pretty aggressive press after seeing this. I expect Coach Birbel, he's a good coach. He's going to mix up the defensive looks. I expect to see a mix of zone, man, and a hard press, just depending on the situation. And so Eagles are going to have to be ready for that, and they're going to have to be able to not turn the ball over because, hey, Idaho's not a great team, but they're coming off 2 wins. They beat Montana State and Bozeman, and then they just beat Sac State down there in the nest. And so, hey, they're hot, and their offense is doing better than it has. So we'll see how that goes. But you know, got to be better with the ball. We got to take care of the ball. The other negative thing about this game, it felt like we were missing a lot. We left a lot of points on the board, and that's crazy to say with 90 points. But this is what I mean when I say the ceiling is very high. This team should have scored probably 105 points tonight. There was so many missed layups. Eric Strupp missed 4. Like, he was fouled, but they were like just didn't look that insanely difficult. Like missing the layup after being fouled just by hair. Um, Situations like that where it just felt like there's a lot of points left on the board with missed layups inside. We weren't missing, like, we missed a few contested outside, like contested mid-range shots, but there was a lot of missed. Kyman missed a couple open layups as well as Lon Watts. It's a guy that almost always makes those shots. Um, shoot, okay, excuse me, Ethan Price missed a couple of really easy, jump hooks that he's typically knocking down 9 times out of 10. Casey Jones, of course, he had a couple tough ones inside that either got blocked or just missing open looks. So, that is another thing that felt like a negative, but also I don't expect it to be a problem. Um, but moving on to kind of the positives from this game, the rebounding was absolutely lights out this game. Um, 53 rebounds to Portland State's 30. Absolutely dominated inside, and this is what Kyler was hitting on in the preview. We match up very well with Portland State, especially with when it comes to size. We're so much bigger than they are, and it's kind of funny when you look at the points of the paint. We only scored 18 points in the paint to their 34, so it kind of seems like they almost dominated inside, but it wasn't really like that. We really dominated inside on the boards, and when we got inside, we got to the free throw line, shooting 31 total free throws to their 27, and they did not shoot free throws well tonight. But the rebounding was very consistent when Eastern was in bad stretches, which was a good thing to see. Coward had a really nice game on the board with 10 plus rebounds, as well as Casey Jones. He had 9 rebounds going into halftime. He ended up with, I believe, 11 or 12 rebounds in this game, as well as Price had 8 rebounds. Someone else had 7 rebounds. Just a really nice rebounding performance for these guys. Here are the rebound totals. Um, you know, it was good to see the rebounding be a consistent positive throughout this game when things were not going good on offense. Um, Another positive for this game, the 3-point shooting came back. The streaks of hitting threes came back. It was really good to see this team get hot and hit a couple threes. I think we hit 7 total threes in the last 3 games or last 2 games, and then tonight we hit 13 threes. Really, really nice to see Coward hit 4 threes as well as Kyman hit 4 threes. Price and Casey Jones also hit 2 threes. Casey Jones had a deep one deep into the shot clock when we just kind of had to force one up. Really good to see. Casey Jones was awesome tonight. He was just really, really fun to watch. And then, Eric Strupp also hitting a 3 off the bench. It was nice to see him finally knock one down. He had had a couple of tough nights scoring the ball, getting him back to 10 points tonight. A lot of them coming at the free throw line, but good to see him hit a 3 after, a couple tough nights. And then awesome defensive effort. I know we gave up 77 points, but it's hard to give up less than that when you have 22 turnovers on the offensive end. We forced them to shoot 28% from 3. They're a streaky team that likes to, shoot the ball. So they're dangerous and they can hit a number of threes in a row, but holding them just to 4 per half. Good job. 40% from the field. They're not a good shooting team. Play some good defense. They don't shoot well. Force them to go 29% in this first half. In the first half from the field, and the second half again, probably 5 or 6 of these were wide open lands after turnovers from Eastern Washington in the second half, which is something that again needs to be addressed, but it's something I'm not particularly focused on. Giving up this 50% because it really wasn't like that until Eastern messed up rather than playing bad defense. Just kind of hitting on some general box score stuff. The length, again, made a really nice impact tonight, forcing, 7 steals, 3 block shots. Coward had no block shots. He's typically the guy that blocks those shots, but Price, as well as Casey Jones and Dane Airstrip all had a blocked shot. It was a good night. Really, got into the passing lanes compared to us. We had 20 assists to their 13. I believe the last time we played, we only allowed single digit assists, which was good to see. Just hitting on Eastern, Cedric Howard with the double double, as well as Casey Jones with a double double. It was really nice to see Cedric Coward bounce back offensively with a nice shooting night, shooting over 50%, 50% from 3, hitting 10 free throws, 26 total points, as well as 11 rebounds and an assist to go with that. 2 offensive rebounds was also nice to see. He had a nice game offensively. I was really, really happy to see him, hitting those heat hot. Wow, I am struggling with my words. It's 11:30 at night, guys. I'm tired. Hitting those heat check threes that he was making early in the conference season and then kind of cooled off in the last few games. Nice to see him hit a few of those, as well as getting the free throw line at a high clip, 10 points from the free throw line. Just overall, he looked like the unanimous first team all conference player that we saw versus Weber State, versus North Dakota State, versus a lot of other conference games that we know Cedric Howard is capable of offensively this year. Price had another nice night, 15 points, 8 rebounds. He fouled out in this one, but he also had a block shot. I mentioned about that earlier. He had a couple of threes. He had an overall solid night. He actually was one of the guys that handled the press pretty well late, and it was kind of weird seeing the big man be the guy that they had to go to break the press, but nonetheless, whatever. Casey Jones, like I said, he had a really, really nice first half, and then he kind of cooled off in the second half. He had 12 points and 9 rebounds at the half. He finished with 12 points, 11 rebounds, hit a couple of big threes, but he had a really, really nice game. 3 steals from him as well. He really brought that energy and kind of brought the energy back to the bench. Got some of their guys into a little bit of technical foul trouble at times, or a little bit heated. There was a point in this game where the benches kind of cleared and then didn't clear, and there's assistant coaches yelling at each other. It was kind of weird, but um, whatever. Don't really care. Jake Kyman with 14 points. He hit 4 threes, which was nice to see him get his 3-point stroke back. He had a nice night versus Montana, but um, you know, being able to hit those threes consistently is always really, really nice to see from him. 2 rebounds as well as 4 assists from him. Magnuson with a pretty typical night for him besides the turnovers, 6 assists and 4 rebounds. As well as only 2 points. Eric Strepp getting 10 points. I already mentioned that. Loam Watts with 7 points, 50% from the field, hitting 3 free throws, 2 steals for him as well, and 4 rebounds. Solid night from Loam Watts off the bench. Hartman also felt big on defense. He had a good job just, playing good, solid defense. He didn't necessarily have numbers, but he had a steal. Overall, 25 minutes of awesome basketball, like I said, and that amounted into this. And then their, 15 minutes of horrible basketball mounted into these 22 turnovers. Hitting on Portland State real quick, Isaiah Kirby was really their main source of juice all night. He had 18 points as well as 4 assists, 7 rebounds. He had a nice game. Most of them were in the first half. Bobby Harvey as well as Kendall Munson also had 11 points apiece. Munson showed some real nice hustle down the stretch. He really played his butt off. He had 3 steals. Looking at the steal column is absolutely ridiculous. 15 steals. We cannot be giving that up if we're Eastern Washington, if we want to be a, NCAA tournament type team and win the Big Sky Conference Championship down there, Boise. This has got to be cleaned up. But Hayden Curtis also had his 3 blocks. He's been a dude that is he doesn't play a ton. He played a decent amount tonight, but he doesn't play a ton. But then he just gets his four block shots no matter what. Definitely an interesting guy to watch. I totally goofed up and was mistaking him with a different player in our preview episode. Hayden Curtis can move fine. I was talking about a different guy off the bench that got some time in the last game. Anyways, out rebounding Portland State 30-53 was huge. And, overall, good performance most of the game. But things need to improve looking forward. But just kind of looking at the standings now, Eastern still up by 2 points, up by 2 games, I should say. Northern Colorado in second place at 6-3. They need to even up their game total to everyone else still, as well as Northern Arizona, their travel mates. But, our next opponent, Idaho, coming in at 3-7 in conference, but they're on a 2-game win streak, so we shall see how Saturday goes. Again, expect a preview episode coming relatively soon, hopefully Wednesday or Thursday this week. Okay. Now we're going to hit on the women's games. Really short and dirty. I didn't get a chance to watch these games in full detail. I had to watch the highlights, skim through. I didn't have a bunch of time this weekend. I had people spending time with loved ones, so I just didn't have the time to watch all these games, but I tried my best to cover it because this women's team's awesome and they deserve some coverage, even if I can't quite give the perfect in-depth coverage. But heading on this Montana State game, this was a heartbreaker for the Eagles because Eastern really led this game most of the game. They led by as much as 10 points at one point in this game. And they really led in every single statistical category in this game as well, except for turnovers. This has been a theme with this women's basketball team. It's been poor shooting and turnovers on the offensive end that have kind of been their demise, and that sort of happened tonight. Kind of just talking about this. Eagles didn't trail in this game from the beginning of the second quarter, kind of like midway to the beginning of the second quarter. They took a lead and held a lead the entire rest of the first half, entire second half until there's under a minute left. Montana State was able to hit a 3, which was set up. Montana State had a possession. They were down by 2 points. I believe it was 57-58, where there was just an absolutely, I'm sorry, but it was just a horrible call. And I know Eastern's benefited from the refs this season, but this was just a tough spot for that. Aaliyah Alexander was defending one of Montana State's guards. I cannot remember who it was. I think it was Natalie Picton. She drove as the shot clock was expiring. Basically, there's like 2 seconds of the shot clock. She just kind of heaved up a shot in the lane. Aaliyah Alexander barely touched her with her hip, and they called a foul. And even the announcers were like, there wasn't really much contact there. And even if there was contact, it shouldn't have been a shooting foul. It should have been on the ground. Well, gave them 2 free throws to tie the game up, and then which led to a Montana State. So Eastern got the ball back after the free throws. Just had a bad offensive possession. Again, should have scored points there, but they were unable to. Kind of had to heave one up at the end of the shot clock. And then Montana State went down, hit an open three, took the 3-point lead. Then Eastern went down. Jamie Luetta was able to make a nice move and score a layup to bring it to 1 point. Then Montana State got the ball back. They kind of stood up at the top of the key with 45 seconds remaining. They were able to drain it down to about 25, and then there was a foul call on Jada Martin, which reset the shot clock to 20 seconds, allowing Montana State to waste another 20 seconds off of the clock. They kind of just heaved one up at the shot clock, up by 1. They left Eastern with just 4.8 seconds to go. Eastern got the ball. They were able to call timeout, move the ball up to their end of the floor, and then they had a nice look at the buzzer. Jamie Luetta dished the ball to Jada Martin on the left wing for an open 3 at the buzzer. Just wasn't able to knock it down. Was a little long. I mean, it's okay. It's a tough loss. It cemented NAU in first place, cemented Eastern at second right now. Eastern's going to have a chance to potentially either tie with them or take a lead later in the season when NAU comes up to Cheney. But yeah, this was a tough one, tough loss, especially just because Eastern led this game for most of the game. They led in every statistical category pretty much, or at least tied up pretty closely with the other team. It was relatively close game. Eags played good defense in that first half, especially, but the second half, Montana State played pretty decent offense, was able to shoot relatively well. And Eastern kind of tapered off on defense later in the game, or on offense, I should say, excuse me. Really, it was the points off turnovers was one of the few things that went Montana State's way. Montana State scored 15 points off of turnovers to Eastern Washington's 10. Eastern turned the ball over 16 times to Montana State's just 13, and that was kind of the difference. That and being able to reliably score at the end of the game was kind of the demise. Just kind of looking at the box score, Jamie Luetta had a decent game, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. She was making plays down the stretch as she always does, but she can't do everything herself, and so she had a tough. She had a, she made a good play at on that last possession, dishing the ball to Jada Martin, but Jada was unable to finish and hit that 3. Aaliyah Alexander had a nice night scoring. Her, pretty average 14 points. Getting to the free throw line for 3 shots, hit a 3. She played 36 minutes in this game. Millie Knowles had 8 rebounds, who recently broke the Eastern women's basketball total games record, which was really cool to see. That was Monday night tonight versus Portland State. Not a ton else to add. Alexis Pettis with 9 points in this Montana State game, but yeah, the turnovers just felt like a little bit too much to overcome for the Eags, and really felt like the difference in this one. Looking forward to their bounce back win versus the Grizz. The Lady Grizz are a really good team. I got to watch them on Thursday, just absolutely decimate Idaho. They were hitting threes like no other. I think they shot something like 60% from 3. So to see the Eagle women be able to hold Montana to, 26% from 3 was extremely impressive. It was a similar game flow to the Montana State game, close early, then Eastern kind of took the lead in the second half and then maintained that lead, and then it got close, really close late, with just a few minutes left, but Eastern was able to pull this one out, and they were able to get the clutch buckets late. Only scoring 11 points in that fourth quarter was a little scary. That fourth quarter offense has been tough, but Leah Alexander was able to knock down a few big shots down the stretch and be able to extend this one and be able to extend the lead enough to win this one by 6 points or 5 points, I should say. Excuse me. Um, just you know, it was a very evenly matched game. Pretty, you know, we turned the ball over less was the one thing that was different from the Montana State game. We actually won the turnover battle. Montana turned the ball over 13 times to Eastern Washington's 10 times. The points off turnovers wasn't nearly as important, but I think just having the ball was probably um, more the important thing. The reason this thing got close at the end, though, is this. The Eagles shot 2 for 13 from the field in the fourth quarter, just 15%, but they were able to get to the line 8 times and drain 7 of them. This is what a lot of those fourth quarter points came from, as well as a few really clutch shots from Aaliyah Alexander at the end there. You know, this game was really spearheaded by kind of who's become a little bit of the big three for this team offensively. Aaliyah Alexander, Jaleesa Lawrence, and Jamie Luetta. Um, Jaleesa Lawrence started this game. Something to mention, Jacinta Buckley's been out for the last 4 games now with apparently an injury. I haven't heard anything about it, but we've definitely missed her on the defensive end of the floor. But nonetheless, with her out, Jaleesa Lawrence is thrusted into the starting lineup, and she really played well. She had 18 points as well as 5 rebounds and a steal. Jamie Letta had, again, a really nice night, double-double, 11 rebounds, 19 points. She had 3 assists. Jamie Letta has just been the MVP of this team. And shoot, man, she should be up there for Big Sky Player of the Year once the end of the year comes here. Aaliyah Alexander, 17 points. Again, a number of those coming down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Really clutch. She's been awesome. Another, kind of point in this game that changed things. 16 points in the paint for Montana to Eastern's 26 points in the paint. That was a lot of Aaliyah Alexander slashing the ball. Millie Knowles' 4 points, I believe all of them were in the paint. Jamie Loetta was able to get in the paint as well as Jaleesa Lawrence was able to hit shots in the paint. Just playing really solid basketball inside. Jada Martin also had 6 rebounds, which is a nice outing for her. She's really been struggling offensively, but she's been playing good defense and rebounding the ball well. Looking at the Montana box scores here, nothing insanely impressive. 16 points for Matt Koenig, as well as 14 for Carmen G. Feller. But holding her to 14 points was huge. Making her shoot under 50% from the field is huge. Holding the Grizz to 9 for 34 from 3-point land. I believe that's 26% or something like that. 33% from the floor in this game. Really huge. Montana is one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the conference. I believe they are the best 3-point shooting team in the conference. Absolutely lit up the scoreboard in Moscow when I saw them. So being able to hold them to that was really impressive. Really nice bounce back from the ladies after a tough loss to Montana State, beating probably a better team than Montana State. Being able to beat them at home. Really nice to beat the Lady Grizz. It was really nice to see the Eastern Washington sweep the Grizz in this game, in this basketball weekend. And that's about all I got for Montana game. Okay, moving on to the Portland State game. This is one that I saw almost nothing of. I wasn't really able to watch any of it live, but I kind of had faith that this one wasn't going to be very close. Portland State's been one of the bottom tier teams in the Big Sky all year. They're 0 for 10 in the Big Sky last place, as well as they're 5 and 17 overall, and a number of those were non-D1 wins. This game was kind of just pure domination. This whole game, held Portland State to 26% from shooting, while Eastern shot 41% from the field, or 40.9%. We were able to knock down 6 threes to Portland State's 4. Shot the free throw, not the best, but it really was just an all-around team win. Played really good defense. The offense wasn't stellar, but being able to shoot 40% was really nice. Again, points in the paint, 26 to 14 in favor of the Eagle women. Out-rebounded them I believe 27-48. Just domination on the boards, domination inside. Looking at some more box score stuff. Jaleesa Lawrence with 14 points, 5 rebounds. Once again, nice night from her. Starting with Jacinta Buckley out. Um, you know, 14 points for Jada Martin. Nice to see her bounce back offensively after having a really tough couple weeks. Shooting the ball, missing shots. She shot something like 10% for a total of 4 games in a row. Nice to see her bounce back offensively, shooting 66% from the field. 10 points for Aaliyah Alexander. She had a little bit down scoring night for her standards, but didn't really matter. Jamie Luetta had more of a down night scoring, but she had 7 assists and 8 rebounds. Again, overall solid game. She had a tough night shooting from the field, but it really doesn't matter a ton with the results being the way it was. Not a ton else to add here. Holding Esmeralda Morales to just 14 points on 4 for 11 from the field. Really nice to see. She's dangerous offensively, but other than that, Portland State doesn't have a ton more going for them. Just an overall solid win from the Eagle women. Not a ton more to add there. Just kind of looking over at the women's basketball standings. NAU in first place with their win over Eastern Washington, and Eastern Washington's loss to Montana State. But coming away with 2 wins over the next 2 top teams in the Big Sky Conference in Montana State. Really huge, especially that win over Montana was awesome and really big. Gives Eastern an opportunity to potentially win out and be able to potentially beat out NAU for that 1 seed going into the Big Sky tournament. Really hope they're going to be able to do that. They have a tough challenge with Idaho, who's had kind of a rocky start at home for some reason. But this game's on the road, so Idaho typically plays better on the road for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. It should be interesting to see how this one goes. Looking forward, Idaho's a solid team, especially defensively. Offensively, they struggled, but should be a fun matchup. The last game, Eastern Washington really dominated that game, so we'll see how Idaho responds in Cheney on Saturday. That's about all I got for this episode of Eagles Power Hour. Again, like I've said a few times, Wednesday or Thursday, an Idaho preview for basketball will be coming out, and then we will have a special guest, Eagle legend, coming on to the podcast here late this week. Probably will be released early next week or this weekend, depending on when I get everything finished up and ready to go. But I believe that's all we got, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I know this one seems a little bit underprepared, but that's kind of what it's at. I'm recording this at damn near midnight, so I'm a little tired, a little bit out of breath. But yeah, jumping my words a little bit, but it's okay. Alrighty. Thanks everyone for watching, guys, and get to Reese on Saturday. It'll be a good one. But other than that, go